Hello, I'm David Debato, and this is the No Delusion Zone for Monday, June 15th, 2026. And today I'm going to be doing the latest in a series of podcasts about what has brought the United States of America to its present situation, which is that we are now under a fascist regime, a fascist administration. I'm doing a series of podcasts between now and the 4th of July, which is the 250th anniversary of what normally would have been a very happy celebration, the 250th anniversary of the signing of our Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. Unfortunately, because we are now under the fascist regime of Donald Trump, it's a day of mourning for me and tens of millions of other Americans. Why are we having a day of mourning instead of a day of celebration? Because it took only 18 months to almost totally destroy what took 250 years to build. What I'm talking about is our constitutional republic, our formerly democratic form of government. Yes, the formerly Republican Party, now known as MAGA, started this destruction decades ago, starting with the Reagan administration in the 80s. However, the real destruction, the absolute demolition of our constitutional republic, our democracy, went into high gear on the 20th of January of last year when Donald Trump was once again inaugurated as our president. So for the last 18 months, he has taken a wrecking ball, both figuratively and literally, to every important institution in this nation, to the point where we are barely a functional government of any kind, and certainly not a functioning democracy, not a functioning constitutional republic. And he and his sycophants, his cult of brainwashed MAGA morons are doing their very best to extinguish even the last remnants of our democracy. And one of those MAGA morons, traitors, people who are, if anything, subservient and loyal to Vladimir Putin, is Tulsi Gabbard. And there she is. And she is the focus of today's podcast. And just as that title says, Tulsi Gabbard, who for the next few days is still the director of national intelligence, God forbid. And the title is Tulsi Gabbard Sparks Fury by Going All In on Ukraine Biolabs Theory. Loyal to the end to Putin. Look, it's no secret that old Tulsi has been a real fan of Putin for many, many years. Whether she is on the payroll, whether she just likes how he looks, what he says, just has some inner yearning to be a Russian, to be a kiss ass to Putin. Who knows? The same thing with Trump, whether or not they're actual agent apparatchiks or just flat out traitors who, for whatever reason, like Putin. We don't know. And I don't care. She's a traitor. And I'm going to follow that up with this about the biolabs situation. And you can read along with me. Today, releasing new evidence of long-standing U.S. government funding of more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. This is the press release from old Tulsi. Now, these biolabs include labs in places like Ukraine, which could be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, the intelligence community had previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens and remained vulnerable to long-standing threats of Russian attack, seizure, damage. Gabbard began in a clip released in social media. She added, despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact, research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs that biolabs can have, politicians, so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, and entities within the Biden administration's national security team lied to the American people about the existence of U.S.-funded and supported biolabs and threatened those who attempted to expose the truth. That's great, except that it's all horseshit. It's not new, and it's not the truth. It's bullshit. 99% of what she just said there is not newly unclassified. Most of it was never classified to begin with. And those biolabs that she's referring to, U.S.-funded biolabs by those horrible Nazi Ukrainians, that's sarcasm, folks, in case you didn't know, actually were the remnants of the Soviet biolabs, which until the full-blown war started in 2022, were biolabs that were being worked with Russian and American and Ukrainian scientists to try to contain the pathogens that were there, that were created by the Soviets, not by the Ukrainians and not by the Americans. The war stopped all of that. But these were not biolabs started and funded by America with the support of Ukraine. No, not at all. In fact, what I'm going to do, and I don't usually play video clips that last more than about a minute. However, this clip that I'm going to show you is outstanding. It lays out in detail by an analyst, an intelligence analyst, the total bullshit, lies, and clown show that Tulsi Gabbard is, specifically about this particular topic, allegedly telling the American people about decades of lies by the Biden administration and previous administrations to the American people about the presence of U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine and other countries, that she was declassifying this very important information for the American public. So take a listen to this. It's a little over 3 minutes. I think you will find it instructive, informative, important about this topic, about this Putin boot-licking ass kisser, Tulsi Gabbard, American traitor. Take a listen. I'll join you on the other side.
Tulsi Gabbard and the Office of Director of National Intelligence have just released intelligence so stupid it can make all of America sing Kumbaya at the same time. Maybe you're a liberal who thinks Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset who's working for Donald Trump. Maybe you're conservative and you think Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset who's working against Donald Trump. This video will make you happy, because on one of her last days in office, she put out the most concentrated package of dumb in intelligence history. So it's Friday and Tulsi puts out a press release saying she's going to declassify evidence about dangerous biolabs in Ukraine, covered up by powerful people. First of all, you know who reacts first and happiest? Russia Today, Vladimir Putin's personal television network. After all, part of Putin's justification of invading Ukraine was these biolabs, so that's probably a bad sign. So what does Tulsi promise? Never before seen intelligence. Evidence of a secret global biolab conspiracy. Let's start with evidence. Spies don't do evidence. They do intelligence. They do assessments. They do probability. They do confidence. The one thing we don't do is evidence. Those are for prosecutors. Next up, declassified. That means something has to be classified. Then you declassify it. Except 3 of the 4 slides are stamped U for unclassified. You cannot declassify a thing that was never classified. That's just showing people a PDF. And I don't know if you have Adobe Acrobat, but double-clicking a PDF doesn't make you a spy, although that would be fun. Now, where did this unclassified information come from? The U.S. Embassy's website in Ukraine. Now, what kind of clearance did you need to get something off the U.S. Embassy website? The same as you needed for the Wi-Fi at Starbucks. After Friday's version of Al Capone's Vault, ODNI was up late Saturday night tweeting in support of their release that makes Alex Jones look like Richard Sewer. Slide 4, they admit it was open source information. That's the spy term for stuff you can Google. And the caption brags that they paid, and I quote, Ukrainian scientist, singular, to study the genome of bird flu. That's called sequencing, reading the code. It's the opposite of the scary thing they keep yelling about, gain of function. Anyways, ODNI says, quote, a map created by ODNI. Guys, the spy world has a whole agency that makes maps. It's called the NGA. They're the best on earth. ODNI apparently didn't call them. Then they drew it themselves and they put the capital, Kiev, in the wrong part of the country. And the one slide that actually was classified, it was a draft of a presidential brief that they didn't even confirm made the final cut, the actual title of which was Ongoing Target for Russian Misinformation. So this vital intelligence was that the Russians were gonna lie about something. You know what else our intelligence said the Russians would do? Drink vodka and wear mittens in winter. So classified. No wonder they thought the president would be bored by it. Oh, and they said the labs were covered up, but then they said the Biden officials confirmed it on the record. Dude, a cover-up that's on the record is a press conference. That's not a cover-up. That's the worst cover-up in history if you testify about it. So to sum up, Tulsi put out a press release that said she was going to declassify stuff that was already on websites except for the classified part, which was about how Russia might lie about Ukraine, a country they had recently invaded. And I don't know who you are in America, what political creed. I hope we can all enjoy that this is the dumbest intelligence product in history. So let's wish Tulsi well, and let's remind whoever follows her that you don't need to declassify public websites. You just need the Wi-Fi password from the barista.
And I think that gentleman said it about as well as can be said, that, as I said at the outset, what Tulsi Gabbard put out was utter horseshit. It was lies. It was Kremlin talking points, Kremlin Kremlin propaganda. And as he said, the person that was the happiest about this was Putin. She has been spouting Putin's talking points, Kremlin talking points, for many, many years. The fact that she became the director of national intelligence was a huge disgrace, one of many, many disgraces that were foisted upon the American people by Donald Trump. I mean, just the fact that she became a high-ranking, one of the highest-ranking intelligence officials in this nation, we will never live it down. That's one of the many, many stains that will forever blot out the record of the United States of America. Thank God she's leaving very, very soon. But just as she's going, as the door is hitting her in the ass on her way out, she has to take another swipe at America and give a gift to Putin. What a friggin' traitor. Just like all of the other MAGA elected officials are, all of the current, what used to be Republican Party officials are traitors, cult members, brainwashed, anti-democracy. Well, I could go on and on and on. Look, folks, that's all for today. Again, this is a continuing series between now and the 4th of July about what has brought us to this point and the people who have brought us to this point. Today, I focused on Tulsi Gabbard, traitor, and ass kisser to Vladimir Putin. Like I said, thank God she's leaving, but she's done enough damage. So if you could, please, I and all of the channels like me, the voice of the opposition, need your support. So like and subscribe to the No Delusion Zone and tell other folks about the No Delusion Zone as well, so they can also subscribe. I'm going to be doing one of these podcasts, hopefully every day between now and the 4th of July, exposing the people and the actions that have brought the United States of America to the state that we are in, which is an almost total fascist country. What used to be the constitutional republic of the United States of America. Until then, you all, you stay safe, take care, and please stay sane.